that down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Creature Commandos had its series finale. I guess it dropped either earlier today or last night. I have not seen the finale yet. I did get caught up on the rest of it, though.
Okay.
Everybody who told me that the Weasel episode was exceptional, man, you weren't kidding. You weren't kidding.
That's where I got hooked.
That was honestly one of the most emotionally devastating things I've ever seen in a comic book thing.
Mm-hmm.
My heart broke. Like, I'm watching that, my heart broke. I just couldn't, over a stupid little 22-minute cartoon, my heart broke. And Creature Commandos I watched the first 2 episodes when they dropped, and I thought they were okay. I didn't love them, so I haven't kept up with it.
Yeah.
So then I binged all the rest of the episodes yesterday. Again, I haven't seen the finale, and I'm like, the Phosphorus episode was really good.
It was.
But that Weasel.
Stupidest cops I've ever seen, but yeah.
Yes, yeah. Usually portrayed that way to tell your story.
But even storytelling from that episode on, I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Did you see the last episode?
Not the finale.
Yeah, I haven't seen the finale yet either.
I actually pair it with Skeleton Crew because they're short enough that I just do them back to back.
Yeah. So anyway, they're off to their low-key soft launch of their DCU. Really, things get launched with Superman. But then the thing that a lot of the fans are looking forward to is what's going to happen with Batman. Brave and the Bold. When are we going to get our Batman? The world freaked out when in Creature Commandos we got our first little tiny glimpse of Batman. But when are we going to get Batman? Now, there was some confusion a little bit earlier. You remember this last week? Andy Muschietti made a comment that his Batman movie, Brave and the Bold, Andy Muschietti, who did a great job directing it. I mean, he just did a wonderful job with that movie. And F everybody else. I don't care. I thought his Flash movie was really good. Not one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, but I thought his Flash movie was really good, and I thought he did a good job directing it. So he made a comment, like last week or something, saying, yeah, well, it looks like my Batman movie's been delayed. And then somebody on social media asked James Gunn about Batman being delayed. James Gunn said, our Batman movie hasn't been delayed. And now there's a little bit of clarification that Andy Muschietti's making. I think it became clear now that when Andy Muschietti heard that Matt Reeves' Batman movie had been delayed, he just assumed that meant his movie was getting delayed too.
You think he'd get on the horn with James Gunn?
You'd think. And actually this leads to a problem. He's now made more comments that have actually make me wonder if James Gunn's going to be looking for a new director for this. Anyway, the good folks over at Joe Blow wrote the following. While appearing on Radio TU, translated by Real Anarchy, Muschietti said, as everyone knows, the Batman featured in Brave and the Bold will belong to the new DC universe. It's quite obvious that Matt Reeves' Batman is not a part of this new universe. Pause for a second. All right, so all the question marks that have been floating around out there, all the question marks, all the speculation, all the predictions that at some point Robert Pattinson, let's go full camera here, Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to end up being the DC's Batman. You can put that to rest now. So the current director of the DCU's Batman, Brave and the Bold, is saying, look, our Batman is the DC Universe's Batman. Matt Reeves' Batman is not the DC's Batman. It's an Elseworlds Batman. So he seemingly kind of put that to rest. Anyway, he goes on to say this. However, DC and Warner Brothers are moving forward with the second part of Reeves' Batman series, which, as widely reported, is expected to release around 2027. This means that the next Batman movie will take some time before it sees the light of day. Muschietti continued, releasing 2 Batman films simultaneously would be counterproductive. What DC is doing is creating strategy to ensure these 2 films don't conflict with each other. Regarding my involvement in the project, there are good intentions for now. Regarding my involvement, there are good intentions for now. They want to do the movie with me, and I want to do it as well. I'm eager to work on the film. We're talking about the story and the tone. Okay. So one of the things that stands out to me here that I kind of caught a whiff of when that first story came out, when Muschietti saying my movie's delayed and James Gunn said, no, that movie's not delayed, is these two are not on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn and Andy Muschietti are not on the same page. And listen, this is one of the consequences or the price tag, one of the price tags of if you want to be the head of the company, oh, and you want to go and direct a feature film yourself while trying to be the head of a company, this is going to be one of those things that falls through the cracks. He cannot full-time direct a Superman movie and full-time run the studio. And again, let me be clear, I'm good with it. I think it's a good idea that James Gunn, with his new DCU, launches the DCU with a film that he directs himself to set the tone. I think that's the right decision. I also don't think he should do it often, because running a studio and trying to run an entire cinematic universe is a full-time job. Just ask your buddy Kevin Feige. It's a full-time job. And even from that one interview, Muschietti's like, my movie's delayed. And James Gunn's like, that movie's not delayed. It became clear they're not really on the same page. And then Muschietti did another interview where he's talking about, well, I've got another film I might do before I do the Batman movie.
And it's really weird that he's going to the press with this.
Yes, it's very odd that he's talking to the press about this. And listen, I say this as somebody who's got a lot of respect for Andy Muschietti. I really like him as a director. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not some Andy Muschietti hater. I'm a fan of the guy. I really am. But he's saying things publicly. He should just shut his mouth.
Yeah.
Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, Hungryroot. You know, grocery shopping used to be one of the biggest struggles. Between your busy schedule and wanting to eat healthier, it just feels impossible to stay on top of everything. But all that changes when you discover Hungryroot, the easiest way to eat healthy without the hassles. Hungryroot is like having your own personal grocery shopper. They take care of the weekly shopping for you, recommending healthy, high-quality groceries tailored to your tastes, nutritional preferences, and even health goals. They've got it all: smoothies, snacks for the kids, ready-to-eat meals, and even supplements. For me, Hungryroot is absolutely a game changer, guys. My health goals have become so much easier to stick to. I love how they personalize my cart every week and even get smart about my preferences as I go. It's honestly stress-free and so simple. You're going to love Hungryroot as much as I do. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/Campea and use the code Campea. That's hungryroot.com/Campea, using the code Campea to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/Campea, code Campea. Because you got to understand, Andy, you're in a position that every word you say has ramifications around people. So just shush, just stop talking.
Yeah.
If you don't know what's going on, don't say anything. You know, I got no problem. He says, hey, me and James just had a great phone call last night. This is what me and James talked about. That's fine. But it's clear that him and James aren't on the same page. And then he says, as far as my involvement in the project, you know, he's not even calling it his film. He's not calling it, he goes, as far as my involvement in the project,
yeah.
There are good intentions for now.
Like he's consulting on the film.
I kind of feel
it's like, dude, you're the captain of the ship. You're not consulting. You're not, this isn't a like, well, if it were up to me, I'd sail this ship over here. You're the captain.
I mean, James Gunn has been having little issues with, not issues, but with Matt Reeves as well, and that Batman.
Keep Matt Reeves' mouth.
Like, I mean, like, you know, the delays and stuff.
Page.
Remember how he was saying there was a delay or something? Like, he had to push it back?
Well, yeah,
they
because
did.
Matt
They
Reeves,
pushed the movie back.
we've been talking about, or bringing up how inactive he's been on the film, and why it started shooting like just right now instead of like a little while ago.
Well, they still haven't started shooting. But no, Matt Reeves has said him and James Gunn are completely in sync. They're completely in line with each other.
What I'm getting from here is that maybe Andy Muschietti is just getting overwhelmed with Batman questions, and he doesn't know how to handle it. Or he should just stay off social media. Well, I mean, Batman is a popular character. A lot of people are excited to see this James Gunn Batman. He's probably getting questions all the time. He's probably, I don't know what's going on. I just don't see the big deal. It's not the biggest problem or like things that he said. It wasn't really damaging to anything. Well, at least in my opinion.
Well, but here's where it's damaging, and it's damaging to the whole, because it makes it look like DC is a mess. It looks like they don't have their shit in order. It makes it look like they don't have communication. Because like even Andy Muschietti said in an interview that he hasn't really talked to James Gunn since he started shooting Superman. That's a problem. And again, like I said, it's when you are the head of the studio. You're the head of the studio creatively. Of course, he's got a great partner in Peter, but Peter is running more the business side of things.
Right.
James Gunn's supposed to be handling the creative. And I get it. It's going to be tough to do everything while you're trying to direct Superman. And it was the right decision to direct Superman. But like, if you're Andy Muschietti and you haven't been able to get on the phone with James Gunn, that's a problem. But secondly, if you haven't been able to get on the phone with James Gunn, don't talk about the Batman project before you talk to your boss.
Yeah, go make sure you get on the phone with James Gunn.
Yeah, don't say anything
until
you get on the phone. You know what you say if you're Andy Muschietti and somebody came up to you and asked you about Batman stuff? Is saying, hey, listen, we're all excited about Batman, but as you know, James Gunn is really busy right now focusing on bringing us the first film in the new DCU, Superman, and we look really forward to getting things more in motion with the Batman movie once that film's done.
Yeah.
That's what you say.
It's called damage control.
You don't say anything else.
But what exactly did he just said? Robert Pattinson's not going to be a part of DCU. Was that a big thing that was the problem?
Well, no. He comes out and says, "My movie's been delayed."
Right. That one was a little
like, no, it hasn't.
Strange.
And now you're coming out and saying, as far as my involvement in the project, we have good intentions for now.
Yeah.
What? That is not what you say.
That sounds like.
I mean, we've seen interviews with him. Maybe there's something lost in translation. Maybe because it is he.
Hey, listen, there might be something to that. English is not Andy's first language.
Exactly, because when he was speaking at CinemaCon, I was like, he said a line. It wasn't anything anyone else caught, but for me, I was like, I could turn that around in a way where it's like that sounded like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I would say this though, on Andy Muschietti's side, shut your mouth.
Right.
And I say this as a fan. I say this as somebody who appreciates you very much. Shut your mouth. From James Gunn's point of view, I'm a big James Gunn fan. I'm a huge James Gunn fan. But James, you're making the Superman movie that is the #1 most anticipated movie of the year. But you are still the head of the studio. And the moment you catch anything like this going on, you've got to tell your AD, you take over for a minute. You got to go to your trailer, hop on Zoom, get Andy on the phone, and get your ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You are still the head of the studio first and foremost. And you can't start like this.
All it takes is just him saying, hey, any questions about the Batman? Just don't field any questions about that right now.
Yeah, just tell people James and I are looking forward to getting moving on it once he's done with Superman. That's all you say. Simple, easy, and nobody worries about it. But you start saying, we're delayed, and then the chief is saying, no, we're not delayed. Then you're saying, I'm attached to it for now. Yeah, and it's like, whoa.
That's the thing, is that it makes it seem like him being hired as a director was a fluid situation. That we'd like you to direct, come on to consult, and if we think we got something good, then you're in it, you're good. But he was hired. This isn't fluid.
Maybe he shouldn't announce directors as well for now.
Well, again, maybe that was a mistake, but that's been done. You know what? Right. It's really a shame because up until this moment,
everything
with the new DCU has been like, it has been winning the PR war. It's been knocking it out of the park. Everything's been going smoothly. And what you don't need is one of your attached directors running their mouth and causing conflict because you as the studio head. And again, I'm a major Gunn fan. Huge fan of James Gunn. I love this guy. But I'm going to be objective here. This is your job. You got to get this guy in line. And you got to make sure you're on the same page and communication is clear. And you got to reel him in if you need to. You're the studio head. Get it done.
But also, this is just my personal opinion. Nothing that he said is any Jenga piece that will collapse. I feel everything. Nothing that will collapse.
Everything said can be fixed.
Everything could be.
But here's the problem. You know what? Jenga buildings collapse because smaller mistakes were made earlier. If you don't want the Jenga building to fall down, make all the right decisions early. All I'm saying is we haven't even had the first DCU movie come out, And we're already, because this is just giving me nightmares of Kathleen Kennedy. The first movie hasn't even come out, and now we're already seeing on public display the studio head and one of its directors completely not on the same page together.
Kind of feels like Rogue One.
That's
Early
not
Rogue
a good
One days.
start.
Yeah.
Like they gotta reel this in and tighten this up. And you either get Muschietti and yourself on their same page, or get Muschietti out and get somebody else in, because Muschietti doesn't sound like he's all that committed to being there.
He seems like that might be
got
cool.
Good intentions for now.
Or maybe there's like he's getting irked that Batman 2 is getting priority over his Batman. I don't know.
Yeah,
but then again, I would say that would have been James Gunn's job to make him understand where things are. Because I'll tell you what. If I went up to Anne after the show was over, I gave her a big hug. Said, "Baby, I love you. I'm so committed to you for the rest of my life. Do you feel the same?" And she looked at me and said, "Baby, I have good intentions for now."
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel good about the status of my relationship if that were to happen. Baby, I have good intentions for now.
Yeah, it all depends on what was spoken behind closed doors between them.
And apparently there's been nothing spoken. That's the problem. There's been nothing spoken. They said they haven't been communicating with each other.
Well,
that's
the fact that he thinks the ship that he's commanding right now, or is supposed to be commanding, has been delayed, and the first call wasn't like, "Hey, I heard my movie's being delayed." That's very nonchalant. I mean, if John put me on a project on our scale, and I was working on it, and I have maybe some subcontractors working on this or that or whatever, and then John's like, "Well, I think this thing might have been delayed." The first call I'm going to make is to John. I'm not going to be like talking to Ray or anyone else and be like, "Well, I think my project was delayed. I'm not quite sure." Like, I'd reach out to you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, again, communication in any relationship, professional or otherwise, is key. You got to have an open door of communication, because the old DCU was a jarbled mess. You need to maintain the perception here that everything at this brand new DC is running completely smoothly, completely well, because the first damn movie hasn't even come out yet. So, and there's a lot of people out there just looking for James Gunn to fail. And so he has to be even better. It's not fair.
Yeah.
But it's the way it is. So, got to reel Muschietti in, man. He should just shut up and not be talking to anybody right now. And if somebody asks him, just say, "James and I are really excited about really getting rolling on Brave and the Bold once Superman wraps up."
Well, and the problem is that now the press and also the independent, like on YouTube, are going to run with DCU Batman Brave and the Bold has been delayed.
Yeah.
Per Muschietti.
It's like, Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Muschietti doesn't exactly sound like it's locked in concrete that he's going to be directing this movie. He says he's attached to it for now. And that him and James Gunn haven't even been communicating to each other. One is saying the movie's delayed. One is saying that it isn't. I don't know. I think James Gunn might be ending up, whether it's his choice or not, I think it may end up that James Gunn has to find a new director for Brave and the Bold. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.